Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson, and this is our Daily Gratitude Call. I'm excited to be joining together again today for Daily Gratitude. Today we're going to focus on gratitude for reunions. Somebody mentioned that, Aubrey on our live call today mentioned that, and I just thought that it's a good time for us to focus on that. Usually summertime is a great time for people to get together for actual reunions. But there are lots of different kinds of reunions that I feel like we can focus on. So that's what we're going to be spending a little bit of time with this morning. We're going to do a 90-second meditation, private meditation. So you'll just sit silently for 90 seconds and write down whatever comes to you on gratitude for reunions. We had somebody new just join us. Who just jumped on?
Susan.
Hey, Susan. Welcome. We're just about to start our timer, 90-second timer, gratitude for reunions. Hang on just a second. My timer messed up. There we go. Okay. All right. So I'm going to set the timer, gratitude for reunions. Just write down whatever comes to you. Begin. I had my sound turned down so you guys didn't hear the timer end, but it is up. That was our 90 seconds. I have had a really awesome opportunity the last couple of days, and today's the third day of an event that I'm helping to facilitate. It's a private event that several people that I've worked with in the past, the leadership team within the Limitless organization that Chris Crone puts on. I just really love these ladies that I've worked with for years. And it's just been really, really awesome to get back together with them. And it's interesting, we haven't really worked together consistently for over a year. But as soon as we got back together, it's like we know each other's personalities, we know each other's strengths, we know each other's, the things that that each other prefers not to do, and we know that we can depend on each other. There's a history that we have with each other and experiences in the past of evidence that we can rely on each other. And, especially knowing each other's strengths, it's great to look around and say, okay, you would be really good at this, and you would be really good at this. And it's just everything is just fallen into place. The event coordinator is Heather, who we've also worked with forever. And she left on vacation yesterday, and she was kind of giving us instructions of what was going to happen today and everything, and she just breathed this sigh of relief, and she goes, I'm just so grateful that you guys are here. She says, I just feel completely like I can just put this in your hands, and it'll all be fine. And, she gave us I don't know, we talked together for maybe 20 minutes, to get all of the event things coordinated for today. And, where other place could you go where somebody could give 20 minutes instruction and be completely fine about leaving on vacation and leaving it all in somebody's hands? So that's what came to me, is just the history that we have together when we come back together in some sort of reunion, that we have history together, we know each other, and we know that we can rely on each other. This is a really good feeling. Did we have somebody else join us?
Tyree.
Hey, Tyree, welcome. We focused our meditation on gratitude for reunions. Who else would like to share?
I was thinking about different reunions that I've attended in the past and how I would wait for people to come to me and welcome me, and I would sort of receive them in the like manner. And now I have released all of that, and I receive people that I want to receive, and I go up to them and feel more at ease with myself and not so. I guess it was because of the history that my mom had, and as I thinking about it just now, I think my mom felt pretty uncomfortable with her family, and that was the way we responded all the time, was that we were always held back, and now I find myself really opening up and making people feel like I love them, and I am excited to see them. So things have shifted for me.
That's awesome. Thank you. And I love that you mentioned your mom's history also. And a lot of times we do adopt behaviors, based on the behavior that we see modeled, all within, when we think of reunions, a lot of times that brings to mind family, ancestral ties, things like that. And there are a lot of behaviors and even limiting beliefs a lot of times can be inherited from people that we look to as, like, when we're little, we look at them as God. It's like, this person can do no wrong, and they're perfect, and everything that they do, I want to grow up to be just like them. And we have we don't have any reference point. And how wonderful it is that when we get older, we're able to choose for ourselves. We can look around, we can see what other behaviors, that person is welcoming someone, and, they're not holding back. And I kind of like that. I think I'm going to try that. That's awesome that we can make our choices as adults to choose to model the behavior that we prefer. Thank you. Who else would like to share?
I'll share. I had a lot coming up with this. One, we've got 2 reunions this Saturday. One is in Riverside nearby, and one is in St. George, and just trying to figure out, is there a way that we can make it to both of them? One's in the afternoon, one's in the evening. But it's like a 6 or 7 hour drive. So so just the choices, and what came up about that a lot was the reunions that we had when my children were young, and we sacrificed. I mean, we didn't go to a lot of those reunions because the kids were in sports and doing ball games all summer, and we just didn't make it a priority. And at that time, I wasn't trying to do both. I mean, try to see how we could fit in everything. We just made those choices that their team was more important. And so it's really kind of interesting to see, like, my youngest son enjoys reunions. He enjoys getting together and anytime he can to meet with family. But my older son, he'll go to a reunion just to please me and be like, I don't know any of these people, and I don't know that I care to. And it's just so interesting to see the difference in them. And so, but I just think family is important, and the more we get to know each other and appreciate each other. But it is interesting, the attitudes that we take on from others My mother-in-law didn't care for reunions because she always felt like it was a big comparison thing. And it's a lot of people that I talk to that are putting a lot of effort into creating a reunion and bringing people together and hoping that it's all appreciated and that everybody will have fun. But for a time, it seems to take over their life, that like they can't do anything else because they've got to plan this reunion. So it's just really interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Reunions are just another opportunity because they don't happen every day. You know, it's like once a year usually, or not super often. It's a pattern interrupt, isn't it? It's an opportunity for us to step outside of our regular routine, and that can be uncomfortable for people. It can be some people look forward to opportunities to reconnect, to do something different. Some people are excited about change and adventure, and then other people feel like it's a drudgery. It's like, well, I'm not used to this. This is, I don't know any of these people.
And even, do we have to go?
Yeah.
You might just find out you really like being around with these people and find things in common. And
yeah. So if we even kind of look at a reunion as just another opportunity to check in and see, okay, how am I reacting to this? What's the feeling going on inside of me? And maybe even do a permission process before we jump into, before we head into the car to head off to the reunion. That's interesting, to think of it just as this pattern interrupt, just another opportunity to step outside of our comfort zone. Thank you. I did have another thought that I wanted to share, a reunion that I was thinking of when my grandpa passed away last week, that I know he had an amazing reunion on the other side of, in the next life, because all of his family, he was the last remaining of everybody older than him, or his generation, like all of his brothers and sisters, his parents, all the grandparents, everybody had passed away. And so, and even on his wife's side, his first wife's side, all of their siblings and, everybody had passed away as well. So he was the last one. And so I just can imagine what an amazing reunion it was on the other side when he went to join them. And that was just a fun thing that I wanted to share as well. Okay, we have time for maybe one more share.
Yesterday, I went to the Provo Temple with a group, a scattered group. We just all kind of went, some went together and some, went by themselves, but we all met there. And anyways, while I was there, I bumped into a friend that I hadn't seen for 20 years. And I looked up, looked at her name badge, and she looked at me, and she said, Mary, and I said, Roberta. and we just embraced. We embraced for the longest time. And we're like almost in tears. Just this wonderful feeling came over us of, we hadn't seen each other for at least 20 years, and that was just for brief moments. And before that, it had been like 30. And, it had been 5, more years. So it's been really 30 years since we really interacted much. And it was just a really wonderful reunion, one that I had wanted. I'd asked people about her. Do you know where she is, or do you know her? And I did have somebody that knew her. And anyway, the reunion was amazing. I loved the feeling of just embracing and having that heart-to-heart connection. And I would love that. Wouldn't that be wonderful if every family reunion was like that?
Yeah.
I feel like she is family. She was family in my life at one point, and so we just had this really wonderful reunion of hearts knit together.
Wow,
and,
beautiful.
Yeah, I did have another thought too, and it went right along with what you guys were talking about. How some people, I think anyway, some people know. I notice that some people, and I used to do this too, would just live by a task list and not really, feel. It's like, oh, got to do this. Oh, I've got to send this card out. I've got to do that. I've got to do this. And there's really, it's just routine. It's not because I want to, because my heart feels it.
Okay.
I just thought of that for some reason.
Kind of what I'm hearing you say is this concept of reunion is all about people. It's all about connection. It's all about, I can't remember, I think it was Colleen that was talking about, or no, Kathy that was talking about how, there's so much that goes into planning a reunion, and it's like we got to, make sure everybody's having a good time or whatever, so focused on the planning. But really, when it all comes together, it's, we didn't even really have to plan anything. It's like you just bumping into this friend that you hadn't seen for 20 years. There was a reunion there, and you did have fun. There wasn't any planning that went into it at all. It was just a happenstance that was really awesome. And even if you just said, okay, everybody show up at the park at 10 o'clock, and we don't have anything planned, we're just going to get together and just have a fun reunion. And I'm sure it would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, maybe even more awesome than all the games and stuff that we planned that everybody's like, oh, we have to do this. So that's a new concept, to just show up and just embrace and just be fully focused on the people. That's an awesome way. I'm going to show up that way to my next reunion. Thank you. That's awesome. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and shift over. I think this is really great energy to be able to shift over to our permission process. So everybody just go ahead and take a deep breath. And whatever preconceived notions that we have about reunions, let's just go ahead and set those aside for just a moment and just be fully present right here in this moment. Another deep breath. And just put a smile on your face. Maybe reflecting or anticipating the next, reflecting on the last reunion that was joyful, or expectations of an upcoming reunion that will feel joyful. And if you see yourself embracing those people that you haven't seen for such a long time, and just really fully giving yourself to the moment of, as Mary was mentioning, just being in the moment and being so happy and filled with joy of just reconnecting with these people. What is the limiting belief that is coming up for you about having this joyful reconnection, joyful reunion? And as you look at that limiting belief, I invite you to examine the cost of it. If you keep that limiting belief, or maybe even what has that limiting belief brought you so far, and not just in reunions. Look at this statement as a whole. The universe doesn't limit our limiting beliefs to one specific event or area of our life. If we have a limiting belief, it affects every area of our life. So how has this limiting belief affected all the different areas of your life? And what is the likely outcome if you keep this limiting belief? And as you examine that cost and you notice the results of this limiting belief, I invite you to make a choice right now. If you want to keep that limiting belief, that is totally fine. You know the cost. You know where that will take you. But if you're choosing to give yourself permission to choose a different belief, then I invite you to say yes.
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 All right. And then go ahead and choose some new beliefs, at least 3 new beliefs that will take the place of that old limiting belief that will put you on a different path and allow a different outcome. And final step, I invite you to look over those new beliefs, really incorporate these new beliefs into your very being so that they're not just words. Find some evidence that supports each one of these new beliefs, even if it's just a little tiny bit of evidence, something that happened 10 years ago even, that supports that these beliefs are true. All right. We have about 3 or 4 minutes that we can share. For mine, my limiting belief was my kids won't want to. And really the cost of that is I'm too concerned about what my kids want, and I can't, it's like distracts my focus. I can't be fully present if I'm worried about what's happening with my kids. So my new beliefs are, I'm happy. I choose my life's path. I invite in eager anticipation, and I'm fully committed to my path. And I haven't got this exactly right, but I notice when others are with me and welcome them eagerly. So I need to work on that one a little bit because, I'm excited. Maybe that's what it is. I'm excited when my kids do join me. I'm excited when people join me. Who else would like to share?
I'll share. My new beliefs, it really had to do with how I show up and where and how I choose to show up, or if I show up. So my new beliefs are, I show up. I am received with open arms as I receive others with open arms. I am creating beautiful memories with each reunion, and I go with love where the Lord directs me. My limiting belief of trying to be in 2 places at one time, and how do I choose? And I don't need to beat myself up for. I just go. I just show up where I'm directed and be there with open arms. And it also has a lot to do with just making sure that everybody knows that you're glad they're there, and I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad you're here, and just creating those memories. I think back at the funnest reunions that we had and the memories that we created, and those have stayed with me. And I wanted that for my children, but it wasn't our priority when they were younger. So one of the limiting beliefs also was the fears of missing out. And so the new beliefs are that just honoring the path, honoring the choices of others, and showing up and being loving.
I love that. And I think sometimes, if we have like 2 places to go in one day, it's hard to really fully be present in the one, wherever I'm at. It's like, I got to make sure I leave at a certain time, or whatever.
Yeah.
So a lot of times.
That's what I'm dealing with.
I love that you said, to go where the Lord directs you, because that's when I can just fully release and know that I made the right choice. Because if it's an intuitive choice, if you listen and ask, and yeah, it feels better that I drive 7 hours to go to St. George, rather than just go to the one right around the corner. It's like, yep, that's the one, and I can be completely free and allow myself to be
there. There was really great something that came up around surrounding expectations as well, and whose expectations am I worried about? Most of all, to please the Lord and be where He wants me to be was a huge part of it. But how do we choose, and just being open to that. So, there are still some limiting beliefs surrounding expectations. But just knowing that we're on the right path and making our choices that serve us and others the best.
Yeah, I think when we consider future events, there's no way that we could know. We can't really know because it hasn't happened yet. We're not there. So we can't know what's going to be the best choice for us, but God knows, and maybe there's one single person that you get to connect, or maybe the long drive, you and your husband have this amazing conversation. You never know. You don't know what the situation, or maybe it is better that you stay and just do the reunion that's right around the corner. But in every circumstance when we're making choices, if we can take that to the Lord and just be like, what's the most important thing for me to do? What's my inspired shortcut today? Whatever that is. Really.
And how many other people are going to be affected by my choice? That's something that comes up for me a lot, and I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
And again, that's
it is what it is.
And that fear of letting someone down, or whatever. Those are all fear-based, so definitely take a look at those.
Can I mention something real quick?
Yeah, right.
That the limiting belief that I had was that they won't let me in, or they'll put a wedge. They'll have their guard up, and I think as I looked at that, I thought, well, that's actually me, too, and so I was thinking, I really benefited from everything you guys were talking about. My new beliefs are, I am comfortably connected with others. I am supported by connections with others, which I'm not so sure about that one, but I am connected with love. I am fully committed to my path. I am fully present, and I am following God's plan for me.
Beautiful.
Love it.
Love those. I would love to continue talking. I know that we need to end our call. I do want to end with a final grounding and just asking for a next step. I feel like for all of us, this would be a good opportunity to just know in our hearts, since this has been suggested. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Just incorporating those new beliefs and allowing ourselves to feel fully present with these new beliefs and knowing that we have evidence to support them, but now we're actually committing to create new evidence of these new beliefs. And in creating new evidence, this is what action steps, this is what we are, whatever we actually do with these new beliefs, that's what creates the evidence, the future evidence of the truth of them. So one more deep breath. And just allow your consciousness to drop down into your heart so that you're not trying to figure stuff out, that you're just listening. Be fully present. And what is the one most important next step that I can take that will add evidence to these new beliefs, evidence to the truth of these new beliefs? What is the inspired shortcut that will take me to this life of happiness and choosing our own path, showing up, all these new beliefs that you've created? What is the inspired shortcut to actually being this person? All right. So I invite you to take action on that next step. 5 seconds after we close the call, just don't even think about it. Just put it right into action as soon as we're off the call. And I invite anyone who is struggling with anything that has been shared on the call today, whatever it is, to reach out to me, askwylene.com, and we can just have a complimentary 15-minute call with each other so that we can really get down to the core of what it is that is causing the struggle for you. Thank you all for joining us on our call today, and we'll look forward to tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening, and I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, wylenebenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.